So, Vomiting Rainbows, episode 9.
Number 9, baby.
So, in this episode, we talk about clowns, the Kardashians, and we talk about some junkyard action with cars and Stephen Avery, and then we end it with the clowns.
And before we get into episode 9, Doug, give out all the social media stuff so people can follow and support.
Absolutely. So, we are vomitingrainbows.com, but we also, all of our social media is We Vomit Rainbows. So this is Vomiting Rainbows. This is a podcast where I tell my buddy Mike stories that he knows nothing about, and then he gives me sage advice about what's going on in the world.
Yeah, it's kind of like Cracker Jacks, and I get a surprise story. You know?
A surprise story every day.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to start this one off with something that Mike's already a little prepared for, but probably not too excited about, and that's where he's going to tell us a little bit about a tattoo.
That's right.
This is right. Where a segment that I like to call "Getting to Know Mike's Tattoos."
Yes. I have tattoos you can't see too, Doug.
Yeah, I know. Well, you're gonna have to take pictures of those later. Thank God we won't have to get into those right away.
Yeah. So you picked the black cat on my left arm,
and you know I like cats.
Yeah, it's actually one of my more recent tattoos. It was the 10th anniversary of the tattoo shop I go to, FTW in Oakland, and this was a design that they drew just for that. And my wife's maiden initials are CAT. So that's why the cat is very important in my life. And the more of my wife I can have on my arms, the better. So it's kind of a tattoo, for her to kind of represent her,
right?
Her kind of fighting spirit.
It is a very vicious looking cat.
Yeah, it is. It's vicious, man.
It does not look like, it kind of looks like my cat when I roll him over in the morning and he grabs my arm, like right before he's about to grab my arm.
Yeah. And the weird thing is I have a number of tattoos and tattoo designs and stuff that I want to get on me. It's just a matter of time and money, and I just don't. I seem never to have either of those,
right?
In enough quantity to get what I want to get done. But it's almost to the point where it's like I really should just book a week at a tattoo studio and just get all the tattoos I want done. And I'm talking, I have tattoos that I want that I wanted for 10 years,
right? But
it's just I just don't. I need a reason, or I need an event to kind of go get one. And since the shop was celebrating their 10-year anniversary, I was like, here's a great excuse.
Here's a great excuse.
I can support the business.
And on episode 10, there's another excuse.
That's
to go in and get another tattoo.
The Vomiting Rainbow.
The Vomiting Rainbow tattoo.
Yeah. So yeah. That's kind of like the general gist of it. Yeah. That's it's not as exciting as the other.
No,
one.
That's pretty. I think that's actually really romantic and it's really thoughtful that you got it. Keep your wife close by on your arm.
Yeah, I think my kids think it's a little weird. I think it's kind of weird. I'm not well into my 40s, but mid 43.
Right.
It's still kind of weird. I sometimes I'm like, it's kind of weird to be getting still get tattooed, but I'll probably get tattooed until I die. So.
Do they ever do that parent teacher conference day when they're like, Dad has tattoos?
Yeah, exactly.
Dad's scaring my teacher.
No. Nothing like that. But it just takes time and money, man. So who knows?
Well, all of our listeners will get to see this tattoo. It'll be posted on We Vomit Rainbows on our Instagram, and all of our social media. So it'll be the second. You should listen to an earlier podcast. I can't remember which one that was.
We've had so many. It's hard to keep track.
I can't even keep up. We're on 9, and I can't even remember if it was 2.
I think 2 or 3, maybe.
Yeah.
I think the majority of my tattoos are family,
right?
Family related, which I don't know, psychologically, what that means. It'd be interesting to go to a therapist and have them be like, "Oh, this is what this means," or
this isn't therapy. I thought,
exactly.
I think we determined that this is part of your therapy.
Yeah, but that's what's fun about tattoos, right? They can have a lot of meaning, or they can just be I saw it on the wall and I wanted it.
You're I really like a 4-leaf clover on my ankle.
Exactly. Spring break.
99,
bro.
Exactly. The name of your fraternity, under.
Exactly.
Perfect. Well, so I know that this is a tough time for you because of the fact that you heard about what happened last week. And I know how close you are to the Kardashian family.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And this is, I know you've been probably I don't know how you've been dealing with it, but, know.
I am familiar with the story. Well, actually, I heard about it because Kanye stormed off stage.
Yes, of course.
And left us, which, I think that's kind of cool. I mean, to be honest with you, he's on the other side of the planet. And I don't know what he's going to do, like fly in a jet. I guess that's probably what he did. He got in a private jet and flew there as soon as possible.
Well, I mean, he's broke, so it was probably like a prop plane. But,
yeah, something like that.
It's like,
But it's pretty dramatic. I mean, she was in a hotel in Paris.
Actually, I think for anyone, that would be an unbelievably harrowing experience.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Especially somebody as wealthy and visible as she is.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the weird thing to me, though. Like, the inspector...
is this going to be some conspiracy shit?
Well, it just...
Are you thinking this might be like a
setup?
Or like a publicity thing?
No, I don't think they're that insane. They might be, but I don't think they're that insane to fake something like this. But there are a lot of questions in this story, right? Like, you're talking Kim Kardashian. I would assume she has some pretty heavy
Kim
security.
Kardashian West to you.
Yeah, exactly. But I would assume she has some pretty heavy security bodyguards. Yeah. And especially if she's carrying $10 million in jewelry around, right? I mean, that doesn't...
At least.
Like, it seems like if you're carrying around $10 million of diamonds, you're going to have a dude there with a suitcase with a gun. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just seems weird to me. Because I know, like, for example, I know, and not that they're on the same level, but P. Diddy, when he was at kind of his Kanye height,
right? He
came to a radio station I was working at. And he literally showed up with like 20 bodyguards.
Yeah,
and there was a guy on every floor. I mean, there were dudes in the front of the building. There were guys at the rear of the building. Right. There were guys on every floor of the elevator. There was a dude at the front door of the studio. There was he rolled with a small army.
Right.
And so to me, it's very strange that considering that she's carrying all that jewelry, she wouldn't have like. When guys kick in the door with guns and masks, that she doesn't have guys immediately shooting at them.
Yeah, or like someone sitting on the hall, like aware.
Yeah.
And she only had, I think, one bodyguard, and the bodyguard was there in less than, the whole event took like 9 minutes.
Yeah, and
total.
Did the bodyguard shoot anybody, or is he shot dead? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no. He got there right 2 minutes after they left.
Yeah, see, and that's suspect. Like, that guy's a total suspect.
Yeah.
Took you 9 minutes?
Yeah, like, I think that's a you're fired moment.
Yeah, I think so.
That's bad.
So, it's...
She had gotten off, like, maybe, I think she had tried to text him or call him as soon as she saw, like, the people entered on the balcony.
Yeah.
And so she saw like guys with masks and like some police officer, but he was putting on a mask at the end of the hall, or I don't know. Somehow she knew ahead of time that they were coming towards her. And so she immediately got on her phone and tried to reach this guy. And then he immediately started coming back to her room.
Yeah.
So they knew that they were under like a window.
But it's interesting because they, from what I understand, they tied her up and like gagged her and all that. I mean, that's a lot of effort.
They zip tied her. And then over that, put duct tape.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you've seen this, but there's a girl who does a video of how to get out of zip ties. Oh, and most people, when they zip tie, you can just pull them.
Oh,
and
really?
The pressure of you pulling against will break almost all zip ties.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. And flex cuffs was the one that she used, like the police version. And you can pull them off. That's why I don't think you can do it from behind, but you can do it forward. But if you put duct tape over, it won't break.
I guess what I'm saying is that if you're going to go in, bomb into someone's hotel room and grab $10 million worth of jewelry, right? It seems like you're going to be spending a lot of that time tying someone up and putting them in a bathroom. You know what I mean? Like it seems like it would just be just as easy to stick a gun in someone's face, say, put your head on the ground, and then you'd be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it seems like.
Well, I think probably from the robbers' perspective, the people who were doing this, they were like, we don't want her coming after us. We don't want a chance of injury with her, because if she does get like injured or comes after them or like grabs a knife and stabs them.
They don't want to escalate the situation.
Exactly.
So let's isolate her.
They immediately zip tied her and threw her in the tub. So, and they had her like in the tub in no time.
Yeah. And
she thought she was going to get raped, but really they were just like, get the ring, whatever. And they all spoke French. So this was like a coordinated French gang.
Yeah. Man, that's pretty. It's pretty. I'm trying to think of too if there's anything that's happened like this to any kind of our celebrity royalty. Like, has there ever been like a big heist like this that you can think of? I mean, every once in a while, like someone will show up in a celebrity's house.
Yeah, but we talked about the Pretty Wild girls.
That's true.
The ones that would follow everybody on Twitter. And then when they were like, hey, I'm at this really cool party, they'd go rob their house.
Yeah. That is true.
That was pretty awesome.
But this is pretty big. And then the thing is, too, is like, Kanye, he seems like he's a pretty passionate guy.
Yeah.
I don't see him sleeping until this is resolved, right? I mean, this guy's going to be the next president, according to him.
Oh, he's not president already? I thought he was running.
Isn't he going to run in like 20?
Didn't Obama meet with him to talk to him about like what to do next?
2020,
right?
I mean, so I mean, it'll be interesting to see how he deals with this. I don't think he's made any kind of public comments yet or whatever, but I would think that that he won't sleep until this gets resolved and until he finds out, who did this. The other thing too is like, getting rid of $10 million in jewelry, especially high-profile jewelry, that's also really kind of wacky. Like this is like there's so much wackiness about this crime.
Right.
Like if you're going to go after $10 million in jewelry or just $10 million in some kind of product, why would you go after someone that's so high-profile? Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like
but I mean, just think about this in general. Like, there are people who would probably pay for like her discarded tissues. So
what you're saying is like there's some dude out there who's so obsessed with the Kardashians.
Yeah,
like, he's like, I want her jewelry.
Yeah, like her ring is $10 million in normal person price.
Yeah,
but like there's somebody who probably has like a Kim Kardashian shrine somewhere.
Whoa. You're telling me it was just a ring that was worth $10 million?
Oh, I think her ring was worth a fortune. I
picture it like them taking a bunch of jewelry.
Yeah, I think they definitely did.
You're saying the ring might have been worth $2 million.
Yeah, they said $4.5 million was the ring alone.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So $10 million in gems, and then...
So she walks around with a $4.5 million ring on?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Dude, you would think just on that premise alone, she would have somebody like all over her shit.
Exactly. And my point is...
And why didn't she wear like this? It literally looks like a costume. Like she just wear like a cubic zirconian when you're like out on the road, and somebody's like, "You want my ring? Here, have it." Yeah.
Yeah. That's $4.5 million ring. That's a story in itself.
I know. I mean,
where do you buy that? Like, why do you buy that?
Well, you're Kanye.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, but isn't he broke? I mean, I don't.
Well, life has been hard for him, but he's not going to sell off the ring. But yeah, he. It was the total heist was $6.7 million.
Huh.
So that's a pretty good take in for 9 minutes.
And who knows? She may have bought the ring. She's super rich too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So might be her money. It's a disturbing story. It's crazy. It's so.
But it's
so bizarre.
It is bizarre, but it also sounds very Keystone too at the end because they all bolted from her place, and this is a private. Like she was, from what I get, she was staying in like a private mansion,
like a chateau.
Yeah, like a chateau. But all the guys like took off, but they all took off on bikes. Like
really? Yeah. See that? Yeah. The whole thing is.
I just picture these guys like with berets, smoking cigarettes, and like, let's rob Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, but that's the thing too. So you go, they got $6.5 million, right? But if there's 6, 7, 8, 10 dudes, you start cutting that. When you sell illegal diamonds, right, you're not going to get $6.5 million for them.
Right.
You're going to get, maybe you get 2.
Well, that's the other thing is, again,
you're saying it's a collector. You're saying it's some crazy Kardashian fan who's like, I must have her jewelry.
No, I think some crazy Kardashian fan is going to try and acquire it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be worth way more than that to the Kardashian fan.
Do you think there's circles like that? That's pretty high level organization, like in secrecy and like confidentiality to be able to to steal someone's
I don't
jewelry.
I don't think that like somebody
like you go on the dark web and be like, hey,
I don't think some fan hired these guys to steal it on their behalf. I'm saying that like once that like some super fan's going to be like, I have to own that. That
try to find out who. These guys
exactly.
Are.
And we'll, I feel like a stalker would probably be able to find these people better than the cops.
I think that, this story is just beginning. And I think the most interesting thing will be to see how Kanye, the repercussions and how Kanye's going to react to this, not just in real life, but artistically.
Right.
I mean, dude, let me tell you something. As a dude, if something like this were to happen to your wife, I mean, you feel violated, not
right.
to mention her feeling violated. I mean, that is, that's a scary, scary situation. So it'll be interesting to see how this affects him artistically. And then, just if he's going to seek vengeance, like, how is he going to deal with this? How is President Kanye going to deal with this?
I don't know, but I think there's going to be a decree probably where no more French people are going to be allowed into the country.
I mean, I wonder if we'll ever go there again, right?
Well, I could actually see a scenario where she's not going to go to France for a little bit.
She's all about the fashion.
No, she's going to go to France. Yeah. There's no way she's going to skip.
It's crazy.
She's probably going to have like just increase her security like to the nines.
Yeah, I mean she'll never get interviewed. Like paparazzi will be getting shot now.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? It's going to be.
Like who's that guy that throws flour on people?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that guy will do that.
Or
and
pie in the face type. Yeah, that's never going to happen.
He'll do that and get his arms cut off.
Yeah, he said that Kardashians like security is under heavy scrutiny right now.
Of course.
Police have spent hours and hours trying to figure out how they got through his security to get to her.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it just doesn't seem, obviously, inside job kind of, rings out here. But I'm
they were all
telling you.
French, and they didn't speak any English. So, and she could only understand a couple of words. And or the rumors are that she only heard a couple of things that she understood from them, and one was "get the ring, get the ring, get the ring."
I think the sad thing is that I think there's a there is a kind of a part in everyone where it's like, is this just a publicity stunt? Because that's they're so kind of over the top and so manufactured that it's sad that when something serious like this does happen, that's kind of the first kind of gut instinct.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, the Kardashians are very well known for publicity stunts. So that gets a little bit harder. I definitely don't think they went this direction. But
I mean, if you did this for a publicity stunt, I mean, you are...
She seems truly rattled from this.
I mean, if you did this as a publicity stunt, you have, like... I don't think you would have any... I mean, I think you would ruin even someone like that. Someone who's artificially kind of, motivated as them. I think it would be over. People would just stop.
But she's already had a stalker before. People who have tried to get at them and her mom and like the Jenners and all of those people.
That's nuts.
So they all have very heightened security. Yeah. Just in general. So it's just amazing that this heist came off the way it did and no one's been caught.
Very fishy, Doug. It's very fishy.
It's very fishy. But that's the one thing, I love about the Heavy. They get it like right out there.
That's right.
That's we're fans of theheavy.com. So this is where we go to get our breaking news. Mm-hmm. So you can always follow up on this breaking story on heavy.com. Yeah. But yeah, so this is going to be, we're going to do a little bit of a rewind and go back and investigate a story that I know is close to your heart. It was when we had our guest, Eric.
Is this a follow-up?
This is a follow-up. This follow-up corner. So I actually called it, hold on, I actually came up with a name, which is called Clown Update Corner. So as we talked before, there were a bunch of clown sightings in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And it was freaking people out. But we didn't hear a lot about it on the news. And I've seen a little bit here and there. But today, it was actually on like one of the top stories on Google News.
Yeah.
And I looked on and it was from heavy.com.
Yeah.
And by no means are we affiliated with Heavy, but we just love their shit. And so since this, there was a major incident at Penn State. So Penn State had this like clown. There were a bunch of clowns around the university. People started getting freaked out. So a bunch of the students rioted and started going out looking up for what
clown
they call
hunting.
Yeah, clown hunting.
Oh my God.
It was crazy. So
did you hear the story locally, like in Fairfield? Like locally in Fairfield, there are clowns.
No way.
They're showing up at some school or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and people are freaking out. They're showing up on like these videos. Around this neighborhood at schools, and they're all. I think I don't know. I mean, let me look it up. I think they're making threats.
Yeah, so that's the other thing. It's
now the clowns are making threats. Before they were just appearing. Now they're threatening.
Right. So that's the other thing that's really disturbing about this. A lot of people are dressing up as clowns and threatening. And they have a one video of these guys, and I'll find it. Colorado was a group of clowns posted that here they posted threatening messages and a clown photo and threatened local high school students. But you know what that sounds like to me? Someone had a test.
Yeah.
Know? And they're like, okay, we'll just post like a threatening clown video, and then maybe they'll evacuate the school, and we won't have to go to school.
That's the same thing that's happening in Fairfield locally here. They're saying that they tweet out this stuff. Fairfield, we're coming. Grange Middle School and Fairfield High School, get ready Tuesday, October 4th, 10:30 a.m. Happy clowning. And, the police are getting involved right now. But they say that there's a bizarre nationwide spike in threats of clown violence, scariness. And they don't know if it's like social media kind of propelled. But they're saying that this is turning into a national epidemic, and this is something we talked about weeks ago.
Yeah, I know, and this is the craziest thing because obviously, it just takes one little seed, and I'd like to think that we were trying to stop the seed from germinating, but maybe we started the seed germinating. Yeah. But there's definitely it's just been nuts. Like there was a girl in Georgia, she and her friend. Were walking around, and a clown started following them. They ran to their car, and the clown was wielding a knife and was coming after them.
See, when I hear stuff like this, all I think about is kind of like Slipknot. Like they had a clown in there, and then like the Juggalos,
Yeah, the Juggalos. I constantly
ICP, it's like an insane clown posse thing.
That's exactly that's a lot of what I thought of. Like in Kentucky, there was a clown that was arrested. Because he was lurking around a complex, and he was hiding in the trees.
I'm not trying to stereotype insane clown posse fans, but they are the insane clown posse. So when stuff like this happens, they got to, I'm sure people kind of go, is it the insane clown posse?
Right.
Is it like their fan club going crazy? Is this like some type of viral stunt that the band's doing? Is there something? Is this all leading to something?
Yeah, I mean,
that would be genius. Like imagine if all of a sudden they bust out a new record and it has to do with all this.
But going through, there's this flood of arrests that have happened with these clowns, and literally.
But you can get arrested just by dressing up as a clown.
That's what I don't understand. Like we're coming up on Halloween,
yeah, and
if you're dressed as a clown and you're just standing there scaring people,
that's what you do on Halloween.
Yeah, but does that mean you're going to get arrested or like what? Like if you and I put on our clown masks, which we brought,
sure.
And we just like stand on a street corner and like lurk at people, that's like half the people in the Tenderloin. Like
yeah, exactly. They just don't have makeup on. They look like zombies.
Yeah, I don't understand how. What do you arrest them for? Like suspiciously lurking,
public nuisance. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe public nuisance. I could see.
I guess if they threaten somebody, but like you said,
but if they just stand there, like the guy who was trying to promote his film where he dressed up as a clown in Ohio and just held like a bouquet of black balloons under lights and like gazebos and things like that. Is that illegal? I mean it's creepy, but like is creepy illegal? And if
it seems like it's becoming illegal, Doug. What's going on in this country? Can't even be creepy. Come on.
You can't. Well, then there's going to be a lot of arrests.
Yes, exactly.
There are a lot of creepy people out there, but literally there are so many sightings. Like I went through them and I was trying to like put together a list, and then by the end of it there were so many sightings, and not just sightings, but there's like videos.
Now Doug, let me ask you a question. Okay, you go home tonight, say it's like 10 o'clock at night, you get a knock at your door, you look through your peephole and you see a dude dressed up as a clown or somebody dressed up as a clown. You calling the police?
My neighbor Mark, yeah.
Are you calling the police, or are you
I'm definitely not opening the door.
You're not opening the door.
There's no chance in hell. Yeah. Like I at that point I'm setting the alarm, I'm going upstairs, I'm doing our survival routine, which is called Turtle. I'm like trying. I'm going to be with my cat under the bed.
Now listen, that's at your front door. What if you drive up into your kind of complex area or whatever, and you see like 3 clowns outside of your complex on the sidewalk? Are you going to call the police?
I don't know. I don't think so. Because I don't think it's San Francisco. And San Francisco, by the way, this podcast is based out of San Francisco.
Yeah.
And like how many
people dress up all the time?
All the time. Like this is the town that loves a reason to dress up. I could honestly see a whole group of people who are clown enthusiasts saying like, we're going to have a party to promote like happy clowning.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. I just couldn't, in no way would I call the cops.
Yeah. But if they came to your door, maybe.
I would be really, that's a whole nother level. If they're like, if I go in my backyard and they're like popping over the fence and like peeking.
What if they're just throwing like animal balloons over, like, you know, like they're making like little weird swords and stuff?
Yeah, then I probably would have less of a problem with it. Yeah. But if they were just leering over the edge, I would definitely like pop out. And I'm not a huge clown fan. I'm not like afraid of clowns, but it's definitely not.
Well, if a clown's invading your space, it can be. This is the thing. What I found at any point in life, it's one of the things. I mean, I love Halloween, but it's one of the things I don't love about Halloween. Is what you find is when people put makeup on and dress up as something else or have a mask on, they act entirely different. Like
right.
Their entire personality changes. You know, and that's the one thing I don't like about it is because people, for some reason, it changes like the way their brainwaves are connecting. And they usually, like, you know, they're usually a little bit more hostile or, you know, like like people act goofy when they put a mask on.
Yeah. And then I do feel like a lot of people are jumping on this. So there are a lot of videos that are out there where people are like seeing clowns on bridges and like running from the clowns. And
it's a viral sensation, So some people are just doing clown videos now.
Yeah, now people are just like, oh, I saw a clown and it almost tried to kill me and I posted it online.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure some of these could be real. Yeah. But one of them was like this guy in like the middle of nowhere and like he and his friend were like hiking.
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, come look at this. There's like this dude is just creepily standing on this bridge.
Yeah.
And they like go stand at the edge of the bridge. And it seemed very close. And then they're videoing it, and they're like, he has something in his hand. I think it's a knife. And then they're like running.
Yeah.
And so I had a moment where I was back in Virginia, and I saw a bear.
Yeah.
Like in the woods, and and like a family of bears, and they were blocking the path. And I was with, you know, my friends, and like we were on this trail, and I thought, the last thing I'm going to do is pull out my camera
and film this
and try and film this. And
your life's in danger.
Yeah, and I don't think people do that.
I think that might just be our generation. We have a little bit more common sense when it comes to when to film something, when not. I think people a little bit younger than us, their first instinct is to film it. Like they film every single thing that happens. Like you know what I mean. Even the most trivial thing, it's like I got to get this on film,
right?
You know, because they don't have the. I think it's because we had the concept of like only having so much space to film things. Like we had like VHS tapes that only could contain so much.
Right.
Where now it's like you just basically have endless data.
Right.
So dudes will just film everything.
But I also think there was that era in the 1940s and 50s where like you could take a ride home with a stranger and it was normal. And then there was like our generation where like stranger danger and don't talk to anyone. And then there's like now this like stranger danger, let's get him on Snapchat. You know, it's like.
But at the same time, I mean, look at now. It's like you just get like a Lyft or an Uber. You get in a car with a stranger all the time. So I mean, there's definitely like I don't want to say naive is not the word, but there's definitely a different way of looking at strangers and kind of I would say documenting your life at every single turn, you know what I mean? So it doesn't surprise me that if these guys are young and a guy comes at them with a knife. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's video out there of dudes getting stabbed with a knife. Like, oh my God, this guy's gonna stab me. Oh my God, I'm being stabbed. Like, I mean, that wouldn't be shocking to me.
Right. Well, there's like the one guy who was there've been a lot of those the videos of people, you know, in drive-by shootings, like holding their camera and like filming their own deaths, and like you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And obviously they didn't expect things to be going down, but like, so back to the clowns.
Yes.
The clowns have not only been at like one campus, but they've been at multiple campuses. So that also, like, I've seen a bunch of videos where people are arrested and the guys are dressed up as clowns, and they're they just arrested, like one guy posted that they just on University of Illinois' campus that this one guy was arrested, but they're not even sure why he was arrested other than he was just in a clown costume.
Yeah.
But I think there are definitely, It's insane. Like they're literally almost every state has reported, like ours, every state has reported this clown thing.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious where it's going to go.
It'll probably fade out. That's these things usually do.
Yeah.
When enough guys get arrested, they'll be like, oh, yeah, maybe this isn't so cool. I mean, it takes a lot of effort to dress up like a clown. You know
it does.
What I mean? Like it does, especially like on a weekday. You're going to have that white paint at work if you have a job. It's going to, people are going to what's with that white stuff on behind your ear? Like,
yeah.
If you're a closet clown. I think it'll fade, though. I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine it building.
And then I'm curious, like, so I was watching Modern Family just the other day, and Phil Duffy is one of the main characters on that show, and he dressed up. He's terrified of clowns, and so he dressed up as a clown because the clown couldn't make it to the party. Mm-hmm. So he dressed up as a clown, and he ran into this hall of mirrors for the thing. Yeah. And he saw himself, and he, like, freaked out and passed out, and then had to go to the hospital because he was dressed as a clown, and he freaked him out.
Some people, that's a legitimate phobia. People are
well, I think now more than ever.
Well, especially with all this going on, for sure.
I think this is definitely feeding into the...
Definitely creepy.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's a refresh. This is we're going to refresh onto something else that we haven't really talked about on this podcast. But, I think it's something it's pretty big. So, do you watch Dr. Phil?
I have. I mean, I know who he is.
Right.
I don't watch it every day, but I don't think you need to watch Dr. Phil every day, right? No. I mean, he basically, his show is kind of the same show over and over again. It's like you get someone with a problem, you get someone who knows that person with a problem, who doesn't think there's a problem, and then you chastise that person for being insensitive.
Right.
And then, like, send them to boot camp or do some kind of weird thing to make them see the light. I mean, that's the basic premise of a Dr. Phil show.
Exactly. So, do you know who Lynn Hartman is?
No.
Okay. So she was the fiance of somebody who is notorious for 9 whole days. So for 9 days, she was engaged to Stephen Avery. Do you know Stephen?
9 days.
9 days.
Stephen Avery.
So Stephen. All right, you're gonna get a piece of paper out. So Stephen Avery there was a documentary made about him called Making a Murderer. And he was convicted of a murder and went to jail for 18 years for something he was found eventually by DNA evidence completely innocent of.
Yep.
And then he threatened to sue the town. Then probably, I can't remember how many, like a month or 6 months later, there was a woman from Auto Trader came to his property and was taking pictures of his car, and that was the last time she was ever seen alive. And Stephen was then, they found her bones in like a pit in his backyard. Her car was in his lot. And he was convicted yet again of murder.
Yes.
So
you can see why this girl fell in love with him and wanted to marry him.
Again, we've talked about the bad boy syndrome.
Yes.
She's definitely feeling the bad boy syndrome. So last week was part 1 of her tell-all
Dr. Phil interview.
Dr. Phil. So for 8 months, she had dated Stephen before ever meeting him.
See, to me that's always kind of suspect too. Like, I dated him for 8 months, but we only met once. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that if people do that, they're not dating, but it's a different definition of dating than I'm used to.
Right.
That's modern dating. That's like, I've known the girl for 7 years. She liked me on Facebook.
Yeah.
7 years ago. We're friends. Right. It's kind of like, what?
It sounds a lot like the preamble to like the TV show Catfish. They've talked forever and ever and ever on the phone via email and correspondence, but they've never really met.
Yeah.
And then obviously they did meet and they got engaged and it lasted for about as long as a Kardashian wedding would.
9 days.
9 days.
How? Who broke it off?
She broke it off. She's going to tell all on why she broke it off in the next episode. But basically, Stephen's had kind of like a series of women that he's been engaged to while he's been in jail or garnered such notoriety.
Yeah.
So the last person that he was engaged to, Sandra Greenman, they were dating, and he refused to adopt Christianity as his faith.
Yeah.
So they broke up.
Now, is Sandra Greenman going to be on Dr. Phil? What is it about this girl that Dr. Phil, that this is what I'm saying, like, what's Dr. Phil's angle on this? Just like, you almost married a crazy dude? Like,
yeah, I think there's a lot of, there's just so much interest in Stephen's case.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was really wrongly accused or wrongly convicted, but then just almost immediately afterwards,
goes
apparently
out and commits a crime,
and that's why they say making a murderer. But most people feel that maybe he had something to do, but they really think that it's his brother that did it, or not his brother, but his neighbor who did it. And
not this one, not the most recent one.
The most recent one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the other one they found the guy. And they convicted him with DNA.
But what I'm saying is, so people right now are saying that he's getting wrongly accused again and that his neighbor is setting him up?
Basically, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Because there was a love triangle between him and his former wife.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and his neighbor married, or his neighbor, I think cousin, married his former wife. And now they're all living together. And
so he's like, Steven's back.
Yeah, let's set him.
Frame it on him. Send
basically,
him back to jail.
That's what a lot of people are saying.
So true believers, baby, gotta love it.
Yeah, so it's pretty, I would say, pretty odd, but Dr. Phil, of course.
Dr. Phil is fearless, dude. I mean, like when I hear this story, I don't want anything to do with anyone within 6 people of this family. I don't want anything to do with people who are potentially wanted for killing people. Like that he just create distance. But Dr. Phil's fearless, man. He's like, come on my show.
Yeah, but this
solve your problems.
And this guy was not an angel. Like, so Stephen Avery was a batterer. He had battered women before.
Yeah.
There was a lot of incest, I think admitted incest in the family, and all kinds of just this was not a beloved like Disney family.
Sure.
But yeah, so that's kind of where things are. The next episode airs tonight.
Did Dr. Phil send us a check to plug this?
No, he did not. But yeah, it's just stunning that this guy A is in jail for this crime, because he, if anything, he should completely be retried because of the police being involved with it. The police department he was suing that basically framed him previously somehow was on the scene of the latest murder and handled evidence.
Are you sure this isn't a reality TV show? It's unbelievable.
It's unreal. So
it seems like
I can't believe you didn't watch Making a Murderer.
or Dr. Phil. I mean, it just seems like if I went to jail for a murder that I didn't commit and I got let go, I mean, I wouldn't be moving back to my old farmhouse, man. I'd be trying to start a completely fresh start somewhere.
Yeah, like get out.
Yeah, like, I mean, I know that's hard to do. I mean, a lot of people that when they get out of incarceration, they go right back to the streets because that's the only place they have to go. But it seems like there should be some other option. I mean, this guy had chicks that were into him. Can he go live with like one of them in a different state?
Yeah, and well, the other thing with this whole thing as it went down is that obviously he's not well off, but his main. It's
okay, Doug, let it out, man.
I'm having a soda. Anyway, so the whole thing that is that his main source of income was this junkyard that he owned.
Yeah. And
so it's very challenging for somebody who's impoverished, he's not the most educated guy, to start over in a new town. And who wants to welcome, somebody with all of his dirty laundry is out there.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's really, I would say it's really challenging for that to
because he's been so high profile, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if he didn't have all this stuff made about him and everything, then he could probably just do it. But
and the other thing too is he has to stay close by because he's suing the department.
Yeah,
and not only was he suing the department, he was suing everyone individually. So they didn't realize that. So while they gave all their depositions, they were very honest and open and like, yeah, this was a bad dude. And yeah, so what? So we might have been a little liberal with the evidence and we might have framed him. And they're like, oh, that's great. Thank you. And then later they realized that deposition was going to be used to take their homes.
Yeah.
And so that's when it gets into the very real conspiracy theory of them setting him up for the
I guess when I just think of like for an entire police department to be coordinated enough to kind of frame one guy for a second crime murder. I mean, first of all, you literally have to kill somebody.
Yeah.
And, dispose of their body. I mean, like to have that level of organization, that just seems like a lot of work. I mean,
well, yeah.
But I guess if it comes down to it, if you're sitting around in a room with 15 guys and you go, hey, listen, everyone in this room is going to lose everything we have. Our families are going to be homeless. We're going to be destroyed. We need to figure out a way to get this, to get this dude off our back. I mean, sure. But to me, it would just seem it would be easier for someone just to go kill him, right? I mean, just like.
Well, my thought is that I don't think the police department went and killed someone.
Yeah.
But I think what happened is the psychopath brother or cousin, he probably wanted to get rid of Steven and was like, okay. And he was also kind of a loon as well.
Yeah.
So he probably somehow with the nephew, killed this person. They're like, oh, this is easy. We just frame it on Steven.
That's what you do. It's done once. We can do it again.
Exactly. And, these are not the brightest people in the world. So they're like, okay, we'll frame him. And they thought, they'll try and get away with it.
Well, it seems like they're getting away with it, right?
Oh, they are definitely getting away with it. But then the police department was like, bingo, we've got our answer. We have a solution.
It's very convenient.
It's very convenient. So, I don't know exactly how it went down, but when the crime actually occurred, they jumped on it.
Yeah.
And, of course, this was their answer.
Yeah.
If he goes away, they can't sue him for everything.
So you're on the side that Stephen Avery is a victim once again of the criminal justice system.
I'm not going to go that far, but what I will say is he definitely deserves another trial because it's just so convoluted. It would like if the police came in and mishandled evidence in a crime.
Well, it just seems like Dr. Phil's not getting getting the full story. He's only getting the chick story. He needs to get like the crazy brother-in-law.
Yeah.
He needs to get a couple of the cops in there.
Yeah.
He needs to get the guy that works at the junkyard. I mean, I'm a little disappointed in Dr. Phil, man.
Yeah, well, I think he's going to dive into the harder questions in a second. So we'll have another follow-up on this one. So there'll be another follow-up corner. Hopefully with less clowns.
Yes.
But, so I think it's kind of where the state of the world is right now, other than the fact of, the Trump saga, which is just never ending. But
well, it'll end November 8th, one way or another. So.
One way or another.
Actually, I guess it won't end because they'll still be around one way or another.
But you heard about the big news yesterday.
What was the big news yesterday?
So Trump's charity was well, dude, it's a very
I've just never seen someone burp so quietly before.
I'm trying to be like, considerate. We're a classy podcast.
That's right.
So, I would say
one of his charities wasn't real.
And so the Trump Foundation was shut down and halted from doing any further business because
when
yesterday.
Oh, yesterday. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So this is kind of
I don't keep track of a lot of this stuff because I just figure the country's the course it's on. It's just going to go the way it's going, and something's it's going to go one way or the other. And I feel like I have very little control over it, so I try not to bum myself out constantly by paying attention too much. So I'm glad that you're enlightening me, Doug.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is I just came from that event before this, which was with Mark Cuban and Chris Sacca, and Cuban was formerly supporting Trump, and now he is supporting Hillary. And one of the main reasons was that he vetted all of her. The Clinton Foundation and the controversy around them, and all the issues that are spiraling around her scandals, and I put air quotes around scandals because they are what I would say they look bad.
This is the thing with Hillary Clinton, right? Like, I don't think she's a lifelong politician, right? So, I mean, you're not going to be in that business for, decades and decades and decades without having a trillion skeletons in your closet. For someone to be in politics in our current political climate, say over the last 20 years, I mean, I don't care who they are. No one is squeaky clean. Nobody, I'm not saying all of them are dirt bags, but they all have dirt.
But the one thing that I think is so amazing is that Trump supporters are constantly calling Hillary crooked because of the Clinton Foundation.
Yeah, I don't know too much about the foundation.
But it's still operating, and it's been operating for years, and it's going to continue operating.
Yeah.
Whereas the Trump Foundation was just shut down yesterday, and there's not even a word on conservative media other than the fact that, they're after him, and they're just, completely trying to shut him down.
Yeah. And they did.
Yeah.
It's complex, man. I mean, politics is a complex business, man, and it's just insanity to me. I mean, I think like what the definition of a politician is someone who manipulates the truth. I mean, that's what they do, right? So I don't know. I mean, it'll definitely be interesting. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know, man. It'll be crazy. Either way, I think it's going to be nuts.
Well, so that's basically We Vomit Rainbows, episode 9.
All right.
I mean,
dude, we're almost to 10.
We're almost to 10.
Oh, my God.
And thank you all for listening. And please like us, comment on our podcast, because those things will help us get more and more followers. And then follow us on social media. We Vomit Rainbows and vomitingrainbows.com.